Well, good morning. I have an interesting video for you today. Currently, my wife has been reading this book right here, When Rabbis Bless Congress, and she found something rather interesting here on page 181. It says down here, Atlanta Rabbi Harry Epstein, who gave the house prayer on March 16, 1978, was born in Lithuania. He became one of the first students at the Hebron Yeshiva in Palestine in 1924. Not going to be able to show the quote here, but right there it is on page 181 of When Rabbis Bless Congress. Right there's the book. So here it is. This is the picture of this guy, Harry H. Epstein. And it talks about here that he was born in Lithuania. You can read this for yourself if you want to. And it says about the prayer of the guest chaplain of the U.S. House of Representatives, March 16th, 1978. Right there it is. And it goes down through. Over here you have the actual prayer that he gave. Tells a little bit about him and things here. Here's the actual text of the prayer. Very anemic, and of course he doesn't even refer to God, even Jehovah God of the Old Testament, much less Jesus, being God manifest in the flesh. So, but I'll just read this thing here. It says, Mr. Levitas, Mr. Speaker, for 50 years, Rabbi Harry H. Epstein has led the congregation of Ahaveth Akim in Atlanta, Georgia. I have known and been guided by the spiritual wisdom of Rabbi Epstein all of my life, and I am happy he could be here today so that all of you might hear him. The rabbinical tradition is generations deep in Rabbi Epstein's family. His grandfather, uncle, and father were rabbis. Rabbi Epstein was trained in that thing there, a seat of great rabbinical knowledge, and headed by his uncle, himself a famous Talmudic scholar. He was also one of the first students at the Hebron Yeshiva in Palestine in 1924, like we read in the book there. He has distinguished himself as a rabbinic scholar as well as the leader of a congregation, grateful for his devotion for all this time. He also holds a master's degree from Emory University in Atlanta and a PhD degree from the University of Illinois. His wonderful wife, Riva, is also descended from a family of Rabbonim. Together they have provided Atlantans, Jewish and Christian, with a shining example of leadership, strength, and dedication. How can you be a leader to Christians when you reject Jesus Christ? No, that doesn't work. The Bible teaches that they are our enemies, according to the gospel. Jews are the enemies of Christians. It wasn't the Romans that were continually hunting down the Christians in the first century. It was the Jews, using the Roman authority to put them to death, or at least try to. But the Romans protected the Apostle Paul. Even though the Jews were swearing oaths and things that they wouldn't eat until he was dead. Very interesting. In addition to being our spiritual leader all these years, Rabbi Epstein and his wife have been close personal friends to my parents. We looked upon them as members of our family. My father was on the selection committee that chose him as our rabbi and met him at the old Atlanta terminal station when he first arrived. The synagogue has dedicated this entire year to a celebration of his Jubilee year, and it is our honor to have had Rabbi Epstein lead us in prayer today, as he has led me and the others of Ahaveth Akim congregation for so many years. Here's his book, Harry H. Epstein and the Rabbinate as a Conduit for Change. What kind of change are you talking about there? I don't think it's pocket change. But here again, I'll show you another little interesting tie-in here. Another thing on encyclopedia.com. Epstein Harry H., U.S. Rabbi Epstein was born in Plunge, Lithuania, and raised in New York, and especially Chicago. He attended the thing here. I'm not going to read all this stuff for sake of time. You can read it yourself if you want to, just the different things he's gone through. Jewish Theological Seminary, got an honorary doctorate there. Whatever, but it goes down here. It says, the Slobodka Yeshiva was noted for the Musar approach, which fostered modern Jewish character through piety and faith alongside Talmudic study. So what's the big deal about Talmud? We'll get to that here in a minute. And it goes down through here. Where's the thing at? Fluent in Yiddish and English, and mixing learned Talmud classes for the old guard with early Friday night services for their acculturating children. Epstein offered a transgenerational gradual accommodation to middle-class Jewish life in America by becoming an exemplar of the modern orthodoxy championed by Joseph Luckstein and Leo Jung during the interwar years. Traditional observance was coupled with modern education in a synagogue center environment hosting a variety of activities. Epstein, who lost a brother in the 1929 Hebron massacre, also led his congregation as an ardent Zionist. He headed regional Zionist efforts, participated in national conferences during World War II to aid European Jewry, co-chaired Atlanta Jewish Federation campaigns, here you go, with Reform Rabbi Jacob Rothschild. Nice. After the war, and served as a model for modern traditional rabbis throughout the South. It goes down through there. But studying the Talmud as an Epstein, Epstein family has a lot of Talmudic type of stuff in it, and rabbis and things in it. And then there's a Jacob Rothschild rabbi. Can't make this stuff up, you know. And if you say, what's the deal with the Talmud? Well, I'll talk about that in a minute here. But here's another famous Epstein that I don't think he was related directly to this Harry H. Epstein guy. I don't know. But I find it interesting that this picture of him that came out, and right behind him is the Talmud, all the volumes of the Talmud. So I don't have the big volumes like that. I don't have the 47 volumes or whatever it is. I have the smaller 22 volumes of the Steinsaltz edition, and I've put videos out showing the text, overhead camera, showing the actual book. Here are the quotes. You can make up your own mind. It openly says at one point that Talmudic Jewish soldiers can rape non-Jewish prisoners of war. Talmudic rabbis can create Frankenstein-type monsters. You will see it in the actual quotes of the Talmud. They believe in that they can use the names of God to create life from non-living matter. The Talmud says non-Jews should be executed if they take a day off from work. It does. Talmudic sodomizing of children is not liable for punishment. It's in the Talmud. The Talmud teaches that 9-year-old boys can marry older women. I show the quotes. Police should investigate Talmudic rabbis for this, talking about pedophilia in the Talmud. I wonder why Epstein would be interested in the Talmud. Because his relatives there, the Epstein rabbis, are teaching the Talmud. Christianity is superior to Talmudic Judaism? Absolutely. Jesus Christ was killed by Talmudic Jews. He was, adding the traditions of their traditions and overthrowing the scriptures. Talmudic contraceptives for minor girls. It's a real sick one. And I show the quote in the book right there. Horrible perversion in the Talmud. Another one there. Talmud is worse than I thought. I decided to talk to a rabbi about the Talmud. The only rabbi a Christian recognizes is the Lord Jesus Christ. One is your rabbi, even Christ. Every modern Jewish rabbi is an antichrist. By definition, the people that hate Jesus Christ the most are the Jews. And I say Jews because there's the synagogue of Satan, which say that they are Jews and they're not. Revelation 2:9, Revelation 3:9. So there are people who claim basically a racial distinction, and they're not even descended from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Oh, but we're of the religion of the Jews. Okay, but then you're synagogue of Satan. All right, you can't say that racial Jews that they qualify for the synagogue of Satan, because they don't. All right, but then here's the one video that went viral. What Talmudic rabbis don't want Gentiles to know. 1.2 million views. Now a lot of these rabbis are trying to come out and answer the thing and whatever. And, oh, he's just a stupid Gentile. He's not a Jew, so he can't understand the Talmud and all this other stuff. Actually, I'm better than a Jew because I'm born again. I'm part of the body of Jesus Christ. So God manifests in the flesh. So I have a better connection to God than any Jew out there. Unless they're saved too, then they're my brother in Christ. So, and finally, Talmudic Jews are lost pagans. And again, none of the videos are being mean towards Jews or hateful or anti-Semitic against European people that call themselves Jews. How's that work? Semitic, by the way, in the Bible, Shem is one of the three sons of Noah, and he would have been the father of the Oriental races, including the Jews. So if you want to say anti-Semitism, then that would be anybody that's against Chinese or Japanese or Korean or Native Americans or, or Jews. So watch out for that term. It's a nonsense term, mind control term. But I suggest watching some of my studies on the Talmud, where I actually am showing what it says. It's right there. You can make up your own mind. But I just find that very interesting that an Epstein was a famous rabbi, and there were a bunch of Epstein rabbis. And the Steve Bannon interview that he did with Jeffrey Epstein, I'm not going to play the thing here, but you can, if you watch it, you can get through the whole thing. And Epstein does make some interesting statements about the banking and whatever else, how the banking thing is a scam in America. But at one point in time, Steve Bannon, who's a trained Jesuit, by the way, another issue there, and he says to Epstein, he says, "You're starting to sound a little bit rabbinical." Well, why wouldn't he? Because he's got a long history, his family and relations and things, other people, they're rabbis. Rabbi Epstein. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd like to hear what you think about this whole thing, but just find it really interesting that a Rabbi Epstein and a Rabbi Rothschild were working together, like the one article showed there. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching.